Goodreads Alternatives, Episode 1. Today we're talking about Storygraph. I think this is probably the most well-known Goodreads alternative. It's possible that Fable has overtaken it, but for me, as a pretty OG Storygraph user, this is the one that I switched to when I left Goodreads entirely earlier this year, and I figured it was the best place to start the series since it's the one I'm the most familiar with. As a quick note, we will also be discussing Fable and then Pagebound in later episodes in this series, but if you know of other alternative social book tracking platforms, let me know. I'd love to do some more research and support some other smaller platforms that are not Amazon owned and operated. Storygraph is an ad-free, stats-focused alternative to Goodreads. They offer some really great graphs and stats for users to view on your stats profile. I'll show some of mine. This is primarily why I use Storygraph and why I was even starting to dabble in it before I made the decision to leave Goodreads. For a while, I was using the two in tandem and ultimately decided I did not want to be a part of the Goodreads ecosystem anymore, so I'm happy to have found a home on Storygraph. They do allow a Goodreads import. Like I said, I've been using it for a while, so at the time I started using it, this feature wasn't available, and at this point I no longer feel like it's necessary for me to import my library, so I don't have experience using it and I'm not sure how intuitive it is, but they do offer it. Storygraph is still run by a team of 3, according to their website. It is owned and operated by Nadia Odenayo, who is still their sole developer and has a couple of other people helping behind the scenes with community management as well as their AI team, which is the biggest drawback to Storygraph. Storygraph does use AI. It appears to be a machine learning model, which is different in my understanding than generative AI, but take that with a grain of salt. This is from my research. It uses it primarily to recommend books to users, but also to summarize books. However, it is worth noting that you can turn these features off, as I have chosen to. As far as I can tell, the data collected on the platform stays in-house and they're not selling it or using it to train other larger language models. Again, take that with a grain of salt. That is just what I've been able to find on that. It is definitely billed in a lot of marketing as like the AI book recommendation platform, which I am really not a huge fan of. And honestly, researching this series made me a little bit more hesitant in my use of the app, I won't lie. Storygraph does offer a Plus subscription. For $5 a month, you can create custom graphs from your stats as well as compare stats like your TBR shelf on the app with your owned shelf, which is pretty cool. The Plus subscription also allows you to view and give feedback on the roadmap for the app, in addition to just supporting a fairly small business and Black woman-owned organization. Like I said, I use Storygraph full-time. I made the switch from Goodreads earlier this year, and I really haven't missed it. Storygraph does have a smaller and at times less accurate catalog than Goodreads, but I think this is understandable and will probably continue to improve as the app gets bigger and expands its library and its user base. Like I also said, the AI features do make me more wary of the app as a whole, but I don't currently have a great option to switch to. Otherwise, I would consider it. So I'll be sticking with Storygraph full time, but I am definitely on the lookout for a no AI stats focused platform. So if you have that, let me know. That is all I have to say about Storygraph. Please let me know your own experiences with the app, pros and cons down below. The next video I release will be about Fable, so stick around for that.